I've spent a lifetime asking awkward questions, the ones we all want to know the answers to, but apart from me, are probably too polite to ask. Why are you still a virgin at 32?
You don't have to answer it.
OK.
What about the bits below? Do you shave there?
Yes, I have shaved.
That's a really below-the-belt question.
Of course it is. I've been up and down Britain putting people on the spot about things that really matter to them, but they'd rather not reveal. Are you in a relationship?
It's complicated.
Tonight, I'm shaking and rattling relationships.
Oh, my God, this is crazy. No, I'm freaking out.
Are you happily married? Or do you just look as if you are?
I thought we had a fairy tale marriage, and we haven't.
What's the key to marital bliss?
I flexed the pecs.
Is it money and status?
I'm gonna live part-time in this beautiful house, and I've got a title.
And do successful couples need to agree on everything?
Who made me into a nag?
You did.
I'm also going to give 2 volunteers the chance to pry into each other's lives.
I thought he was maybe a cross-dresser, and you guys like to share clothes.
What I want to find out is, how happy is your relationship? There are 18 million couples in Britain. Almost 3/4 of those are married. How does that work? You're happily married?
Oh, God, yeah. He's my best friend.
Really? How long have you been married?
20 years.
What makes a good partner?
You need to fancy the other person constantly.
Is sex important?
Yeah, absolutely.
How many times a week?
Reasonably frequently, actually. It's good.
Well, I'm separated.
Why?
Differences in lifestyle.
Okay, what's your lifestyle?
I'm probably relatively boring.
Have you tried being less boring?
L is for the way you look at me.
What's the thing you like best about your partner?
There's lots of things, really, but she can't tell a lie. I quite respect that. I'm quite good at lying.
She's funny. She's clever. She's just great.
Extraordinary is even more than anyone that you adore can love.
Cards on the table. I've had 2 lovely husbands and divorced them both, so I'm permanently intrigued how other people can get the hang of marriage and I never could. Is it enough to be in love? Well, probably not. What else do successful couples have to keep them together? Research shows, not unsurprisingly, that couples who play together are more likely to stay together. I'm at a St George's Day celebration in Hertfordshire. Medieval reenactment is Malcolm's hobby. A wife would surely have to be besotted to play his damsel on a day like today.
I'm sorry, it is so cold.
What are you doing here on a freezing cold day?
Don't ask.
Enjoying ourselves.
Are you?
This is our big hobby, and we do this rain, snow, sun, shine, whatever.
And the reenactor's motto is, we're all here because we're not all here.
Malcolm is semi-retired. The couple have been married for 31 years.
Oh! Come on, he's down! Oh, no! Hey!
It's an awful lot of palaver on a very cold day so that Malcolm can enjoy himself.
You're quite right, it is. But I think it's something that's really important because it's something we enjoy doing together.
Is that part of the secret of a happy marriage?
Well, I think it is. It's tolerance, isn't it? Everybody has to give and take, and this is what we do. We give and take.
Are you happily married?
Yes, we are.
On a scale of 1 to 10?
I suppose we're about 9.5.
Really?
Yeah, absolutely.
But it hasn't always been that
Oh,
good.
God, no. No, it hasn't.
And what happened?
Well, Malcolm had an affair.
Wow.
So...
How long before you found out?
Apparently it was 6 years, which is ridiculous in hindsight.
6 years?
6 years.
And when you confronted him, what was his excuse?
He didn't really have an excuse, but he did say, I thought we had a fairy tale marriage, and we haven't.
So to soothe his disappointment, Malcolm decided to make matters worse by cheating on Janet, astonishingly getting away with it for 6 years. Alas, he's in the majority. A whopping 60% of men will play away at some point in their relationship, while only 45% of women will. But here they are together 10 years on, and according to Janet, their marriage is blissful again. I just wonder how they managed to revive the relationship after trust had gone out of the window.
What would you like to drink?
A cup of tea, if you're making one.
Yep, absolutely.
Because I'm very, very nosy, I saw it being opened earlier. 2 irons and 2 ironing boards. Why?
Well, because the theory was, when we were both working full-time, on a Sunday, we'd put a film on and we'd do the ironing each and we could whistle through it.
Is this an example of things you do together?
It's not an exciting thing we do together, is it?
I think it's quite endearing. Indeed, Malcolm says he now behaves like a good husband. So what led him astray? How did the affair begin?
Janet and I weren't going through a very good period at the time. And this woman made it very, very obvious that she was interested. Every time I saw her, she made it absolutely plain. And after 2 years, I thought, what the hell?
What do you think it is about you that women are drawn to?
I'm told women find me dangerous, find me, yeah. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if I'm dangerous sexually or if I'm dangerous physically or...
Have you always had a good body?
Yes. I flexed the pecs.
Wow. Do you think it was her fault, this other woman?
What, the affair?
Yeah.
It was my choice to join in, but she absolutely made a total beeline for me.
Did you imagine Janet's feelings should she find out?
Janet had always said, if I have an affair, that's the end. I had a woman that was just great in bed and all the rest of it. So the thing uppermost in my mind was to make sure she didn't find out.
For 6 years, you had been unfaithful to Janet. Where was your shame, Malcolm?
I didn't have any. And that appalls me. And Janet found out. She said to me, tell me you haven't had an affair with that woman. And I said, I can't. Please don't leave me.
He burst into tears.
I burst into tears.
And I cuddled him.
Did you?
Yes.
Did you feel sorry for him?
I felt relief that I wasn't the stupid one, that my suspicions were actually real. And then I thought we could deal with it. You'll never forget. Women are like elephants, they don't forget. But in order to forgive, you have to make a conscious effort.
Why on earth did Janet stick by Malcolm after such a record of blatant infidelity? Anyone hearing your story would think how astonishing of you to be so generous of spirit and to forgive.
Generous of spirit to Malcolm, yes. To forgive. To forgive her, never. If I saw her now, I'd claw her eyes out. And it's taken a real effort, I can tell you, far more than perhaps he realises. It was so difficult. For a good few years afterwards, you know, if we were making love, all I would think of is her and him together. And you have to make a conscious effort to close your mind off to that.
Janet, why did you forgive him?
Because I wanted the marriage to continue and because I think he deserved another chance. People are just far too ready to give up on things. Oh, he doesn't work, throw him away and get somebody else. Life's not black and white like that.
And when you look back of 31 years, the happiness and the relationship you have now, has it all been worth it?
Yes.
Do you love him?
I suppose I do.
For my money, Malcolm is a very lucky so-and-so. I mean, most women would have told Janet to kick him out. But hang on a second. Because Janet showed compassion and worked through his betrayal, she's gained another 10 years of happiness with him. So, forgiveness can work. From the outside, it's almost impossible to pinpoint what keeps a couple together. To help us explore, I've asked two very different couples to live in each other's pockets for a while to see what they can find out. Meet the Burkes, Claire, 49, and a full-time mother, husband David, 43, and their 7-year-old son, Jay, who has Down syndrome. Claire and Jay live in this house in Bradford, with Claire's 3 other sons from a previous marriage. David, who's a firefighter, doesn't live here, ever.
We've been together 15 years and we have never lived together in the same house.
David and Claire's living arrangement is part of a growing trend known as LAT, or living apart together. It now accounts for 10% of us.
The fact that I've got my own house makes our life a little bit more flexible. We both get to keep our separate identities, so we're both essentially the same person that we both met 15 years ago.
For me, it still feels like dating. My tummy still jumps when I see him.
David's shifts mean that the time they spend together is during the day, but at night they're in separate houses.
Other people do want the cuddles on a night. I love David, but I don't want him here. I get to watch what I want to watch on TV. There are no mucky boxes lying around. I don't think there's any cons of living apart.
What will Claire make of a very different kind of relationship? She's had no warning what sort of couple she's about to pry on.
It seems really strange trying to pick clothes. You could be meeting a vicar's wife. I could be mixing with swingers. Not that I know what they wear, but I still want to fit in. Right?
"200 miles later, Claire arrives in the Royal Borough of Windsor.
I can't believe these people actually live so close to the Queen.
The couple she's visiting are out for the morning. Claire is free to snoop as she pleases.
This feels really weird going into somebody else's house. Feels like I'm invading their privacy. What a beautiful house. I'm not seeing much of a man's touch in here. This room oozes an awful lot of love. A very, very close couple. More initials, bless him. It's very intense, the amount of mementos and little love signs. I would be like, you know, just back off a little bit. I know you love me.
To help her in her quest, the couple have left a handbook detailing what they think makes their relationship work.
Welcome to our home. We believe that in each other's we both found our soulmates, the other half of ourselves. I don't want to be another half of somebody else. I want to be me, and that's why me and David work. We don't have personal boundaries with each other. We never lock the bathroom door. The one time my partner did, I used a coat hanger to break in. I don't get that. I don't get that at all.
OK, so first big tip, no lock on the bathroom door. Between the handbook and a good rummage, has Claire cracked the sort of couple she's about to meet?
Hi! How lovely to meet you.
I'm Megan.
Hi, I'm Claire.
Hi, I'm Whitney.
Hiya. Lovely to meet you.
You as well. A bit wet.
Are you married then?
Got a civil partnership.
Right.
So we're looking to convert it to a marriage now that it's legal.
Over here, we've got Wegan.
Yes.
Where's that come from?
Whitney and Megan. Wegan.
It's like a joint.
It's a mashup name. We were very needy from I wouldn't say needy, but very codependent.
Yeah.
Very codependent from the start of things. She was like, Wegan, you're as one.
Oh, lovely.
Claire will spend 2 days with these soulmates observing their life before Whitney has a chance to snoop on Claire.
Do you two actually share makeup?
We share the same foundation, powder, eyeshadow, blush, bronzer, everything. So we're buying clothes together as well. Because we share everything. And there's not much that is really mine or hers. We just share clothes.
If these two share makeup and dress in the same clothes, what about the outfits for their big day?
Oh, my goodness.
Oh, my goodness. I know you love that.
Yeah, let's do the love heart. She gave us the veils as well.
Dun, dun, dun. Oh my God, this is crazy. No, now I'm freaking out.
For someone who lives under a different roof to her husband, a couple who share everything must seem very scary.
Do you have any social life apart?
No. We kind of join.
A lot of people say we're over the top, we're a bit codependent, and they're right.
But we're happy. Go vomit now.
The closeness that they've got, their affection for each other, is not for me at all. I would feel totally claustrophobic. I need my space.
When someone says they need their space, that space is often the exact shape of their partner. Men will be thrilled to know that research shows the one thing vital to a happy relationship is sex. Indeed, the more the better. Does our prudish British outlook allow us to agree? Is sex important in your marriage?
Oh my God, he's gonna kill me. Well, yeah.
Yeah, look, my mum sees this, I'm screwed.
Why are you laughing?
I don't know, I'm a green red.
Is sex very important?
Yes.
I guess so. But, like, it's not the be-all and end-all.
How often a week would you have sex?
2 or 3 times.
Really?
Yeah.
Sometimes more.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Do you think that'll go on for the next 40 years?
Yes, it does.
Is sex important in your marriage?
It certainly was, love, yeah.
What do you mean it was?
Well, for God's sake, listen, I'm 85, nearly am.
Oh, so
yeah.
no sex now?
Why, are you free tonight?
No. Alas. Hot on the heels of plenty of sex is sexual fidelity. A hopeful 92% of us expect our partner to sleep only with us. What about the other 8% who think differently? I'm in Leeds to meet Rich and Emily, who don't just have sex with each other.
Hello.
Come in. Hi. Even though they've been married for the last 4 years. What's the glue that binds you two together?
Our love? Is that too corny to say? We just get along so well. We never get sick of each other's company.
If that is so good, why extend it to multiple relationships? Is it just an excuse for having loads of sex?
It's definitely not an excuse. I mean, sex is important in all of my relationships, but it's not about sex exclusively. You know, there's a real emotional intimacy that goes along with those relationships.
This might look like having your cake and eating it.
I am having my cake and eating it, but I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
Rich and Emily call themselves polyamorous, a movement that believes it's desirable to love more than one partner at the same time.
A good analogy is children. Someone has their first child and it's great and they have such a close bond with that child. You could ask the same question, why would you want to have a second child? A lot of people, I think it's just because they feel like they have to stop at one relationship, and I just don't feel that because I'm with partners who agree with me.
In this small flat, who does what? Where?
Guest room.
What's the guest room?
This is the guest room.
So that might be you and Dan, or it might be Rich and Philippa.
Yep, or it could be me and Sam. I've got another boyfriend called Sam who lives in...
Have you?
Yeah, he lives in Germany, so we don't see each other all that often.
So when Emily's in here with Dan, do you wonder what's going on?
Now that I'm used to it, it doesn't even cross my mind.
How do you work out your diary?
Well, we have a shared Google Calendar, which is on my tablet. I can show you.
Okay.
Essentially, these colours are different people, so...
What colour's Philippa?
Philippa's the dark blue.
Yeah.
And Emily is green. Once upon a time, I used to assume that because Emily and I lived together, that if there was nothing on either of our calendars for that night, that we would be spending time together. And that made it really difficult for one of us to then arrange a date on one of those nights because we'd have to ask each other for permission. Whereas now, if we want to spend time together, we put that on the calendar as well.
Big breakthrough.
A big breakthrough, yeah.
Practicalities aside, how did Rich and Emily emotionally accommodate being married while sleeping with lots of other people?
We wrote our own vows, and when we wrote them, we wanted to be really careful not to include anything that wouldn't be sort of polyamory friendly, so we didn't want to say we were going to forsake all others. We knew that wouldn't be true. And we talk about valuing each other's independence, you know, that I'm not responsible for his happiness, he's not responsible for my happiness.
I can't argue with the sentiment of that, but delivered here, it seems very icy.
Even though Philippa doesn't live here, I like to have little things around the house that remind me of my relationship with Philippa.
Yeah.
And this is something that Philippa spent months making for me. It's Kate Bush in various incarnations. And I get to look across at the vows there, and I get to look across at the Kate Bush. Yeah.
So you've got jam on both sides of your toast, really?
Yeah, well, but I like to think my toast might have more than two sides one day, but right now, yes.
How many sides of jammy toast can one man manage? There's something of student philosophy about all this, the kind of thinking and extravagant choices you make when there's no children involved. Here's some of the other participants, Emily's boyfriends, Dan and Al. Al being the live-in boyfriend of Rich's girlfriend. Tricky to get your head around this lot. Very trendy here in Leeds.
Yes.
We try.
Philippa's not here.
She's not very well.
OK. So I need to get it clear who's with who. So, Emily, can you come and sit? Yeah. And Dan, where do you fit in?
I'll say the sensible answer. I'm in a relationship with Emily.
OK, well, you better go and sit next to Emily.
Was it something I said?
So, Al, your relationship is with...
Philippa.
Well, let's make this Philippa. Does Philippa go here?
She's best in between Al and Rich.
So put her on the table. So, Dan, you're in a relationship with Emily.
Mm-hmm.
And who else are you in a relationship?
At the moment, I'm just in a relationship with Emily.
Oh, well, you sort of don't get as many benefits as everyone else.
It's really interesting that you say that because I haven't had any other partners since meeting Philippa.
Yeah.
And there were a few months when I felt like a little bit angry about that. I felt that I was effectively monogamous and she was getting all the benefits of non-monogamy. And it took a while to talk through, you know, the boundaries and stuff that I was feeling uncertain about. And once we'd had the chance to do that, I felt fine about it. And actually, I don't kind of feel any need to have another partner. But I know that if I make a connection with someone, I can go with it. And that's not wrong in the context of my relationship. And that's incredibly liberating.
Mm-hmm. Dan, have you fancied going and finding another partner?
Yes. Because I mean, this is my first real relationship.
Is it your first sexual relationship?
Yes.
Yeah. How old are you?
32.
Is that unusual, do you think, to be 32 and...
It's probably perceived that way. In sort of cultural dialogue, it's...
You're not on Newsnight. Come on, tell me, why are you still a virgin at 32?
Because I've not met anyone who is willing to.
Why do you think that is?
I don't know. I think I'm adorable.
Rich, when Dan came on the scene, were you initially jealous?
I've come to terms with the fact that jealousy is just another emotion that needs to be talked through and worked through. It's not jealousy that tears the relationships apart, it's how people handle it.
Dan, do you feel the same? How jealous are you of Rich?
To start with, I was jealous because I have a lot of fun when I'm with Emily, and if I could have that all the time, that would be great. But I also know that Emily has a lot of fun when she's with Rich or when she's meeting other people. And that's fine. And
are you in love with Emily?
I think she's amazing.
No, I didn't ask you that.
Okay.
Are you in love with Emily?
That's a very on-the-spot question.
You don't have to answer it.
Okay.
It's not unusual to be loved by anyone.
Well, polyamory is not my generation's idea of free love. It's a bit earnest, a bit joyless, in fact. And jealousy, just as much jealousy. You can't argue with their mission statement, which is that you're responsible for your own happiness. That's okay if you're Emily and Rich, who have multiple partners. But what if you only have one partner and you have to share her? That's a lonely place to be. Frankly, if I was Dan's mum, I'd tell him to pitch his tent elsewhere. Returning to the relationship swap, independent Claire, remember, is spending 2 days with the codependent Whitney and Megan and is still trying to unearth the knack of their happiness.
Do you ever feel that you just need that little bit of alone time?
To be honest, no. Even though we're in each other's company, we still miss each other.
Yeah.
And on the occasion that, you know, we're doing something separately, I'll FaceTime her. I know that sounds crazy because we're in the same house.
From the bedroom?
I'll FaceTime her from the bedroom because I miss her, even though we're in the same house.
Cheers, ladies. It's been lovely meeting you.
Likewise.
It really has.
Valentine's Day is quite big in this house.
Oh, yes. It literally looks like Cupid just threw up through the whole entire house.
The matching dressing gowns are ever so sweet. And brushing teeth in unison as well. Yes.
Close my eyes at night.
Hiya. Hi. Oh my goodness, this couple, they are so dependent on each other, you wouldn't believe it. They miss each other if they're in separate rooms. They FaceTime each other.
Well, that sounds a bit weird.
It is poles apart from us two.
Who are we to judge? So I bet you had an interesting day then.
I've had a really interesting day. I didn't get much sleep at all. Megan and Whitney's relationship did make me stop and question my relationship with David. That might be nice to snuggle up at the end of the day. And then I stopped because I thought, no, that's just me questioning that maybe that's what a relationship should be like.
An exhausted Claire continues her digging of these two.
Have you had to make any compromises that have been really difficult for you, that you've kind of had a fight with yourself?
One of the biggest compromises that I did have to make that still sits really heavy on my heart is leaving my family. And I just feel like I'm missing out on this big chunk of my life that I'll never get back. So it really kind of like pangs the heart, but she really is special and she is the one. And that's what it's all about.
Claire, of course, doesn't do compromise. Oh, no. Claire won't even watch the same TV show as her husband.
I strongly feel that that people should have their own independence, their own life, to be themselves.
I don't think because you compromise you change who you are, but I think you do grow together as individuals. And if you've been together, you know, for nearly a decade, then how do you not change just by being with that person anyway?
But in a way that really does scare me. I would feel I'd lose me.
Hardly romantic, but in choosing our partner, more than 3/4 of couples admit financial status is a factor. In other words, money matters. Therefore, if you're clever enough to bag yourself a title and a stately home, isn't marital bliss guaranteed?
Your love give me such a...
This is Carlton Towers, a Gothic country house in North Yorkshire, ancestral home to Lord Fitzalan Howard and his wife, Emma.
Oh, how cute. There's a doorbell. Didn't think places like this had a doorbell. Hello.
Hello. Nice to meet you, ma'am. Welcome. Emma,
Thank
please.
Lord Gerald.
Gerald, please, 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 for God's sake. Welcome to Carlton.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Beautiful
lovely to meet you.
building.
There's been a house here, well, since Doomsday.
Emma married into a family steeped in history and prestige.
That's my father.
Duke of Norfolk.
Correct.
Yes.
Your grandfather.
Lord Howard of Glossop.
That's your mother.
That's my mother meeting Prince Charles and Lady Diana.
They were quite close. I mean, they really...
Yeah, they were very close.
Your mother adored her.
As a Pope.
John Paul II.
Who'd you have to be to say hello to the Pope?
The Duke of Norfolk.
Wow. Is that you getting married?
That's us getting married.
Yes.
Looked at that for a
Horrible
few years.
photograph. We both look like dwarfs.
No, we don't.
We do.
What kind of life did the young Emma dream she was entering into? Emma, coming here as a bride, did it daunt you?
Oh, yeah. I mean, it really did.
And what sort of home had you been brought up in?
My father was a doctor, and we were brought up in a nice, sort of, you know, medium-sized village home.
But what looks on the surface to be a story of middle-class girl getting lucky and moving to grandeur and riches is an illusion.
This is our dining room. It's a right mess at the moment. I'm just selling stuff on eBay.
I didn't know the aristocracy sold stuff on eBay. Have you sold stuff from the house?
Oh, yes, we have. We raised money for the roof, which truly we needed to do because we were leaking.
What do roofs cost in houses like this?
Hundreds of thousands.
Yeah.
It's the classic thing of, you know, being sort of cash poor but asset rich.
The bridal bedroom.
It was bare, sort of crackly white walls, bare, I kid you not, bare floorboards with worn rug. You know, truly, you can't exaggerate.
Was there any heating?
No.
What made the decision to move full-time to here? Money.
Money, yeah. No,
It's always money.
closed something down south and we came up here. Quite a shock.
So it was a bit of a shock. So that's when the sort of absolute set in.
And it got worse. The couple were left almost penniless when a risky business venture of Gerald's to do with his passion for motor cars went belly up.
We were really at rock bottom then because we sort of didn't have any money.
What did you want in a husband?
I wanted someone who would really sort of nurture and take care of me. And of course you want a comfortable life. And I sort of genuinely thought, gosh, you know, I love this wonderful man and I'm going to live part-time in this beautiful house and I've got a title. And then the reality was a absolutely bare-floored, naked light bulb, threadbare curtain mausoleum.
What were your thoughts about sticking with the deal?
I wasn't sort of thinking, oh, God, I'm packing my suitcase and going. I wouldn't have dreamt of that. But I did think there's got to be a better life.
When there's a knock to a marriage, what happens then to put it back on track?
No one must continue being bitter, because if you're bitter about it, that person becomes bitter because you're bitter. And that really can rot anything. So you just say, oh, to hell with it. You know, and you know, Gerald is a fantastic husband and a fantastic dad. I had to be a big old grown-up about it.
Whatever the circumstances, 62% cite money as one of the biggest strains on a relationship. Yet, for the Fitzallen Howards, and with Emma's remarkable resilience, financial hardship actually cemented their marriage. What would you say was vital to you in that marriage?
To stay in love, you know, and...
But nobody stays in love.
No, but just to stay liking each other.
Is sex important in your marriage?
It's not important, really, but it's sort of, you know, I think that intimacy's sometimes required.
Does that mean, Emma?
I don't know, you know, having a quick little bonk every now and again.
What do you think makes a good marriage?
I think, you know, we agree on humour and just clicking.
Humour, respect.
Respect.
Honesty.
Gerald, what annoys you about Emma?
Well, you can sometimes be just a teeny bit ratty.
Are you happily married?
Yes.
Very.
Very much so.
Ooh.
On a scale of 1 to 10?
Oh, 10.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah,
is anyone a 10?
9.
No.
9.
I mean, I don't think you were a 9.
Oh, I mean, a good 8.
Maybe not.
A good 8.
A pretty even 7.
Bit slippy steps, bit slippy.
It all looks very fairy tale grand, but what keeps this couple together is a common purpose, and that involves the very things you'd expect to push them apart: debt and a crumbling mansion. I'm halfway through my journey peeling off the layers to find out what makes a happy marriage, what knits a couple together. Importantly so far, all the marriages I've looked at have had roughly the same start. 2 people met, fell in love, and tied the knot. But what if the marriage comes first and falling in love comes later? I followed my heart when I was choosing both my husbands, without, of course, any lasting success. But what if I'd left it to my mother? Perhaps if I'd had an arranged marriage,
I would have cracked it.
I'm in East London at an Asian beauty salon owned by Navida.
Hi. Hi.
All these girls are brides-to-be preparing for the big day, including 22-year-old Fizzer.
Would you say that your introduction to your husband was traditional?
Yes, it was quite traditional, yeah. I was actually introduced to my husband through a picture by my auntie.
And the first time you met, how long did you have together?
We had maybe 20 minutes. And then I got engaged, like after like 2-3 weeks, I got engaged.
But you could pull out at that stage?
Yes, yes. It was all up to me. Like, my mum didn't put any pressure on me. It was all up to me. So I said, yes, I'm willing to go ahead with it. And then I was engaged for 3-4 months, and then I knew that, yeah, this is going to work.
How long have you been married now?
It's going to be a year in July.
Going okay?
Yes, everything's going very well so far. Because we grow up in such a family-oriented sort of environment, I think that helps with the whole marriage.
I think there's a lot of single girls out there in the Western world, if you want to ask. Yeah. They would actually love an introduction. They would love their parents to bring someone that they think was, you know, good enough for their daughter and know that their daughter would actually work with them.
Oh, there's much logic here, but Zahida is older than the other girls, and she's learnt that the best-made plans can collapse.
Is this your first marriage?
It's my second marriage.
Your second marriage? Is that unusual?
When I got divorced, it actually was. It's really hard for families to sort of accept you after you've been divorced.
Do you think you sort of knew fairly quickly it wasn't working?
Yes, I think when we were engaged, if I was being very honest with myself, I knew that we weren't getting on and we were sort of quite different. I think it's about suitability. I don't think we were given enough time to get to know one another.
And with the Asian culture, it's just like not known to live with someone beforehand. Yeah. So it's a chance and it's a gamble that you have to take.
How many times had you actually met?
Twice. Yeah.
You made a choice that didn't work out.
Yeah.
Is that because you felt pressured by then?
Yes, I think by the time, I was 27 at that point, and you start hearing the whispers, you get put in a corner and you've got to do what's right at that point.
Second time around, Zahida will look like a traditional Asian bride, except now she's chosen her husband.
There is a little bit of jealousy when your friends are meeting people at clubs and going out, and it's exciting for them. And then you've got this sort of very regimental way of meeting someone. There is that girliness that you
miss that butterfly
feeling in your stomach. Yeah.
Have you got butterflies about your husband-to-be?
Yes, now I do now.
Navida's business allows her family to live very comfortably. She's been married to Mentab for 26 years. He was chosen by her weary mother. In an arranged marriage, the family match is as vital as the match of the couple.
My mum's mission in life at that point was to get me married off.
And had she suggested anybody else?
Oh, God, yes. I had seen many guys.
30, 40, how many?
Oh, my God. It must have been about 20, at least.
Same here, if not.
Really?
You were fussy then, weren't you?
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
So you were actually quite cynical at this point?
I was.
Yes.
Yeah, I think we both were. That's why we said no on the first day, on Friday. We said,
so you said no on the Friday. What day did you say yes?
On the Monday.
Yes.
Yes.
And how much do you think you knew about each other by the end of that weekend?
I don't think it's about how much we knew.
It wasn't about that.
It's about we just clicked.
That seems extraordinary. And how long before love made its way in?
6 weeks after the marriage.
How many weeks for you?
It was probably about a week and a half. It wouldn't be more than that. I think she was the missing person that I was looking for, that I felt.
Was she the cream in your coffee?
Definitely cream.
Were there any times during those first few years that disappointment crept in?
There was nothing that serious that I didn't think we could adapt to. I think it was just our state of mind that we had to compromise and we had to know that we both are going to have faults and that we both going to have to work at it.
Do you think that's the difference in cultures and the approach to marriage?
No, I think it just depends on people.
No magic wand hovering here. Unlike many couples who marry for love, these two accepted they had to work at it.
And if I asked you, are you happily married, what would you say?
I am, of course. You know, sometimes it gets on my nerves. I mean, that's normal. But then you see, Anne, this comes to the whole thing.
Yeah.
You know, men say, we nag.
Yeah.
Now, we bought curtains, and all he had to do was put these on so I could put the hooks up on there.
Yeah.
He didn't do it.
No. Why
5
didn't you do it?
years. It's taken you coming round our house to get them up.
Anytime. I'll
Thank
just
you
give me
so
a call
much.
and I'll be here.
If I say it more than twice, I'm nagging. You imagine how many times I said it in 5 years. Of course I'm going to be a nag. But who made me into a nag? You did. Me? Oh, my God, did you see
Don't be fooled. That relationship radiates happiness. I'm so impressed by those two and how comfortable they were with each other. No jagged edges. And remember, that didn't start as a love match. They approached marriage with very realistic expectations, but a willingness to make it work. And actually, that's been the secret to their happiness. In Bradford, it's changeover time for our guinea pigs.
Have a look around our house.
Awesome.
Leave it to it.
Independent Claire is handing over her house to Whitney, one half of the gay, codependent couple.
This must be Claire and David's room for sure. I would say this room's a bit feminine. You really wouldn't know that it has a man's presence.
No, because up until now, Claire hasn't mentioned that David, her husband, doesn't actually live with her.
This must be Claire's. Oh, interesting. There's not that many men's clothes. Perhaps David likes to wear women's clothes every now and then.
Claire's left Whitney the handbook explaining why she thinks her way of organising her relationship works.
My partner and I have sex about 5 times a week. That's quite a lot, actually.
The average British couple has sex once a week. Do you want a second or two to take that in? Claire and David have arrived back with Jay.
Hello.
Hello.
Oh,
really? I can say hello to Whitney.
What's your name?
Jay.
Jay. Nice to meet you.
Jay.
Oh, you're so cute.
Dad, I have
Yep.
Hollywood.
Hi.
So what has Whitney found out about Claire's life?
So, I had a snoop. I think you have a lovely home.
Oh, no, I don't live here.
You don't live here?
No.
We do. No. No.
No.
Interesting.
I have my own house.
You do?
Hers, yeah.
Okay. And you guys you're married, but you just live separately?
Yeah.
Okay.
Although they live separately, Claire and David do share the parenting. Jay stays at both his mum and his dad's home.
I did not see that coming, I've got to say. I had many theories, but that wasn't one of them. I thought he was maybe a cross-dresser and you guys like to share clothes. Megan and I, that would be a real struggle because I miss Megan when she just, goes to the toilet sometimes, let alone living in a separate house.
Whitney wants to know how they decided on this unconventional arrangement.
I think Claire and I are lucky that we found each other when we did, because we were both coming out of previous relationships.
So you think it's based on past relationships?
For me, I think it is. In my last relationship, I sat back and let everything be done for me. Finances, both wages got paid into a bank account. I let him quite happily run my life.
Did he like that you were dependent on him?
Yes.
And then did you just hit this point in your life where this isn't the Claire I want to be?
Yes. I did find myself, probably as corny as it sounds, and I just thought, no, I do need more than this.
It's amazing. It's almost like you two have empowered each other and given the other this new lease on life.
Everybody wants to love. Everybody wants to be loved.
All the Teddies had got into bed, ready to go to sleep. And then he got on his back and he went...
Everybody wants to be loved.
See you later.
Bye.
You'll know what it's like when you have children. It'll come to bedtime and they all go off to bed and it's like, that was an exhausting day. Well, it's like that when I see David go out the door.
Really? Do you get an instant sense of relief?
It is like deflating a balloon. I miss him, but not enough to want him around on an evening. But then just as nice to see him back in the morning.
Baby. Hello. Miss you. Oh my gosh, yes. Miss you so much. We were both completely wrong in our theories. Turns out they live in separate houses and they have their whole relationship for the past 15 years.
Oh my God, really?
They seem really happy and in love, but it's just a different kind of love than, you know, what you and I had when they greeted each other. They had a kiss, of course, but they didn't miss each other and have that reunion like the one you and I are gonna have. But that's just because I think they're so used to being apart anyway.
So, do they ever share a bed?
They have sex 5 times a week, so...
5?
So I'll find out more tomorrow about the ins and outs of it.
The next morning, Whitney joins the couple on one of their regular daytime dates and sees that after a decade and a half, they're still playing at being newlywed.
It may be a case of, say, I'm doing the school run, and I sort of text David and say, see you down at yours. Or...
I don't know what that means. She's not coming down to watch Jeremy Kyle.
Oh, that is very interesting.
Or, you know, if David's done the school run, he'll come in and he knows if it's all quiet downstairs.
Yeah, if the door's locked.
I don't know where to find me. It's not sort of quickly and quietly.
Yeah, it's uninhibited.
Yeah. And it does keep it... There's more...
It keeps it fresh and exciting.
Yeah.
While time apart is key for Claire and David, Whitney would find this unthinkable.
I don't think we'll lose any of that, whereas I think my concern for couples that are as intense as yourself and Megan, it would be my fear that it would burn out a little bit.
But I can honestly say my heart literally just explodes, basically, when I'm around her, and I don't think that feeling will ever go. I've got myself in the bit of the back.
Now, when I was young, which is a very long time ago, there were several easy ways to get a boyfriend. Go to supper parties, cocktail parties, 21st birthday parties, your brother's school, or ballroom dancing classes. Online dating is the way 9 million people now look for lasting love. An oddity for my generation, but here goes. I'm going to dip my toe into computer matchmaking. Oh, no, I don't drink, so no to him. This is Gary, who's a freelance actor. Don't feel that would bring in a big income. Oh, electrician. Well, he can do some of the switches upstairs. What's not to like? Oh, you and Stephen have liked each other. The electrician. And Tommy is a drainage engineer, and his friend is with him, and neither of their teeth are very nice. Oh, look, wow, that's much nicer. Oh, quick. Now, I want to go back to the 60-year-old who's got a job in banking. I just really want a Tinder that's CEOs and upwards. I'm far from convinced you can find love with one swipe or even 100. Yet, a third of all marriages start this way. Lastly, Kent, with a couple whose paths would never have crossed without the internet. Now they're engaged and house hunting. Sharon, Ben, hi, Annie.
Hello, nice to meet you.
Hi. Sharon, an actress and singer, has agreed to move to a sleepy village near to where Ben, a firefighter, grew up. And, please note, closer to his work.
OK, so this is pretty much the centre of Marden.
I need to point out to you two that everyone we've passed walking appears to be very elderly. How does that feel, Sharon?
I mean, it is a little bit daunting, I'm not going to lie.
Yeah. Oh, look, there's a young person. That's the first young person I've seen.
Shall we go and introduce ourselves?
You met each other on the internet, dating, yeah?
Well, yeah. Basically, I'd said to my girlfriends, look, I'm not going to date any single fathers because clearly he's already messed up my relationship. And so my girlfriend said, Sharon, stop being ridiculous and at least date one. You never know, because, you know, somebody might say that about your situation. I went onto Tinder, and he was the first single father that came up. There's a picture of him and his son on his profile picture. And I thought, oh, he's quite handsome, he's a fireman. All right, yeah, give that a go.
What struck you about Sharon's details?
I remember it coming up, flashing up that we had a match, and I thought she'd made a mistake because she's obviously really attractive. And as I started reading her sort of details, I thought, well, she's obviously very different to anyone that I would have ever met, certainly sort of around here.
You could be the youngest person in the village.
I could, yeah, I'd be like the only black in the village as well.
You could be the only black in the... We haven't seen any black people yet.
No,
apart
I
from
said so.
Sharon.
I will actually make you stop the car and I'll go and say hello to them.
There you go, they do a quiz night at the Unicorn. What do you want?
I'd be useless at a quiz night.
I'll come and do quiz night.
Are you good?
I love a quiz night.
I'm not bad at quizzes.
Of course you're good at quizzes.
Of course you are. Of course.
Sharon, star of screen and theatre, is now on the brink of becoming a country mouse. Not the only challenge. Both come with children from their first marriage.
Our relationship is very different to my relationship before. We got married, I think I was 25, and I think we were together from when I was about 21, so still, looking back on it, still a kid, really. So it's massively different.
Second marriages do have a better chance of succeeding. Have these two got what it takes this time? How different is Ben from your first husband?
Completely different, because my ex was actually probably a lot more like me, in the sense that we're both striving, we were both looking for the next big thing, which is very difficult then to sit down and enjoy the little things together, you know, whereas I find with this relationship, we sit down, we play Scrabble together, and I don't get bored.
Is there ever a danger that what begins as nice might turn into dull?
Nice is good. It is. Nice is good. You know, people always look down and they want a bad boy or exciting, and I just didn't want that. I just wanted somebody who was genuinely a lovely person and a lovely soul.
And what were you looking for, Ben?
I didn't really have anything in mind particularly, certainly not Sharon.
Tell Anne what your mum said.
Yeah.
It really made me laugh.
Yeah, did you advertise for her? Yeah, did you put, so how does it work? Did you put an advert out for her? Yeah.
Yeah,
Wanted, crazy black single mother, but yeah.
What makes you feel that this time round the marriage has got a better chance?
I don't know, I just feel like I'm not a different person. I'm not a different person, but I know myself a lot better and I know what I want. And we do tend to look at other couples and go, you can tell that they're second-time rounders.
Why? What is it about second-time rounders?
I think maybe just a lot more relaxed with each other.
You've gone through a set of problems or whatever with somebody else, you've come out of it, and you're therefore going to find somebody that you really, really, really want to be with. You know what you want and you know what you need the second time round.
So, on a scale of 1 to 10, how happy are you two?
10.
8.
Oh, really? What's...
I'm joking.
Ah, will it remain a 10 or an 8? Ben's 7-year-old son, Harry, has 2 half-siblings. Sharon's 4-year-old Marley, unlike Harry, has never lived with other children.
I'm painting my hands.
The blended family now accounts for 1/3 of all marriages.
It was definitely daunting at the beginning.
Massively, yeah.
Suddenly you're faced heads-on with another sort of form of parenting, and you've kind of got to, yeah. I still find it difficult to discipline Harry. I feel like I'm still kind of treading on eggshells because it's difficult to know your place as a step-parent.
It is tricky, isn't it, with someone else's child? I mean, how do you react if Ben tells Marley off?
If she deserves it.
But of course, the problem is whether what you think she deserves and what Ben thinks she deserves are different. Because you're quite strict, aren't you?
Stricter than Sharon, yeah.
Is she a bit spoiled?
Show me an only child who isn't spoiled.
Ah, very good. Who's in it?
That's me. That's my dad.
Yeah.
That's Sharon. That's Marley.
That's very good.
Nice to meet you.
Children.
Thank you, take care.
Ben and Sharon are a very good example of what can happen if you ignore the differences and take a risk. Of course, it's early days for them. I mean, they've yet to live under the same roof, and in a few years' time, they're going to have the challenge of dealing with each other's teenager. They say second time around, they've learnt the value of compromise. I think they're going to need it. In Bradford, Whitney's time with Claire and David is nearly over. Before she leaves, she's joining them for a family outing. Quite the opposite to the lazy weekends Whitney and Megan prefer.
Seeing you with Jay definitely, makes me really excited to have kids one day.
They are absolutely amazing. They totally change the dynamics of your relationship. You won't have as much time for each other like you do now. Your relationship is so intense. You will lose some of that closeness.
I mean, I'm sure we'll be fine and adapt, but initially it does make me a little bit apprehensive.
Yeah. You will be blown away at just how much love you both do have left. You will just adapt your relationship in other ways, but it is massive having a child.
After 4 days of scrutiny, what have the couples learnt from the experience?
Meeting Megan and Whitney has been an amazing eye-opener. It's made me question a few bits of my relationship, but to the point of it's made me appreciate my relationship more. It's made me realise that our relationship is absolutely perfect for us, and Megan and Whitney's relationship is absolutely perfect for them.
It's opened up my eyes to see a completely different dynamic of a relationship be equally as successful, but in a completely different way. There is actually no recipe that makes a happy relationship. You can have many different ingredients, but as long as the end game is love, it doesn't matter.
I just wanna love you.
Have I learnt what it takes to have a lasting relationship? Well, we've seen forgiveness, compromise, realistic expectations, but probably most important of all is the need for some sort of glue, a shared passion, whether it's battle reenactments, a crumbling mansion, or even an enthusiasm for taking lovers. I might even possess some of those qualities myself. Would I do it all again? I don't think so.